friends, this is Naren R from Narens Wisdom Talks. So this video, I want to take you back to September 2023, where today's Deputy Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Sir Udayamidi Stalin, under the Progressive Writers Association function, he, under the theme of eradicating Sanatana, which is misconstrued way of understanding the spiritual aspect of Hinduism. He told that Santana Dharma is akin to dengue or malaria, whatever it is. So his misunderstanding is here that he had certain intention which may be good for eradicating caste or something like that. But my point here, my contention is here, number one is the message, the way he says it to the public. So an elected representative need not talk about one of the system of belief without the knowledge what it is openly in that way. So it is not a minister's job to criticize any religion, any belief. Of course, they have way to communicate in a more civilized way. What are the plans he has to constructively bring all communities together, and maybe he can reform that religion. He has to leave it to the specific leaders of that religious community or leaders of the society. So as a politician, his job, he was elected, is to represent all the people. And before knowing what is Sanatana, which is many ways mostly in Tamil Nadu political class, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, they are misunderstanding this. There is Swadharma, there is 4 Purusharthas in our main goals in this. I want to educate that. Purusharthas are the main goals, which are like Artha, Kama, Dharma and Moksha. Similar to Tamil, Inbam, Aram, like that it comes. Same. It is one's duty that from Artha, that is prosperity, one's Dharma, duty in life, which is ordained to him by his nature and quality, and finally progressing to Moksha. In first 3 parts, it is called Swadharma. Swadharma means one that is ordained to him by his nature or whatever his qualities is. As in Krishna in Bhagavad Gita explains in chapter number 4, verse 13, Chaturvarna Maya Shishtam Guna Prakriti Vibhagasi. There is 4 varnas class created by me according to the nature. The duties are ordained in that manner. And that is also said in chapter 18. So if you see that in other parts of the Manusmriti, which became slightly rigid according to the according to Ambedkar, it became so. Ambedkar burned the copies of Manusmriti in 1927, stating that it was discriminatory. And certain theory that Sage Brigu wrote it. Ambedkar is the father of the constitution in India, as you know. He burned the book, stating that it was written during the sage period of sage Brigu, during Pushyamitra Shunga's period, 1000 years back. Um, that under the pressure of rising Buddhism. So some historians they dispute that, like Romila Thapa. Anyway, let us not dwell into that. So our intention is that Gandhi, who again differed with Ambedkar anyway regarding this, and he told that each person has his own duty, there is no discrimination from teacher to janitor, all were ordained by for certain duty, and it is necessary for society to function in that way. So there was different of opinion. So leaving aside, these are all like spiritual. If you give a spiritual touch in this, uh, there is a gross misunderstanding of what politicians claim of Sanatana Dharma, and similar kind of concepts which are twisted and turned to the need of these political class to suit its narrative during certain times and period, and to certain audience with vested interest. So this again in a similar concept of jati and varna. So in 1901 also British did a census, and they attached these jati subtypes into varnas, and many of that what public opinion was there at the time. So these are some thing we have to look into it. So this societal imbalances, we should not, as a politician, uh, take this as a divisive instrument to create rift among the people. Rather, you have to unite. Like when Lee Kuan Yew said that India was a different kind of creature for entity when compared to China, which had Han Chinese as a majority. India has much variety of people. For every 100 kilometers, you have a different culture. So you have to enjoy this unity in diversity. And one synthesis about there are multiple uh, ways of living and people and sects, but something uniting this, that part is what is called the Hindu or Hindustan. From it is not a name of a religion, but a name given by Persians of Sindhu. So this one culture, there is one synthesis of basis of this culture. So there you have to understand the problems, because it has been for thousands and thousands of years of such a mixture of invasions and other sects mixing into it. So you have to respect the sentiments and evolving nature of this problem, and try to solve it in a very diligent and effective manner, so that your constituents, whomever you are representing, will be satisfied with your performance. And you have to take reforms along with the cognizance of the other religious and spiritual leaders, if you have a problem or any issue, and sort it out in a peaceful manner, in non divisive, not divisive manner, in a unified manner. You should be a beacon of unity, not a distortion of facts. That is what. Similarly, similar other kind of religious thinking like jihad, which has been widely misunderstood, and they are using it for different purposes which are not desirable. Jihad, there are two jihads, and in hadith also, one which you strive for inner peace and inner goodness. That kind of a thing we need in this world of today, which is, as I mentioned in my previous video, is filled with full of poisonous hatred and other vicious thinking. So, having said this, you follow the great ideals of the leaders who reconciled, not divided. You don't need not follow Hitler or Mussolini or other leaders who were very divisive in nature. Rather, you can follow the great leader like Nelson Mandela or Gandhi or many other leaders throughout the centuries in India, where Ramanujacharya, who just hit the temple bell and brought out Narayana mantra is for all, irrespective of caste. You follow this path, and the path will lead to peace and prosperity of all-round well-being of society. You are a public servant and you are accountable for that, and you alone have that responsibility. Whether it is Udayanidhi or Modi or anybody across the world, or in a nation like India, or any politician per se, I am telling, it is time for revival of politics which are inclusive and which does not distort any fact, and which reconciles the people. That is what I feel, irrespective of ideologies. Ideologies are there, okay, but you have to rise beyond these ideologies to serve the mankind. All the ideologies strive for this only, and thus I conclude by saying betterment of the people, whether socio-economic level or spirituality or inner peace, whatever you call in atheistic way. That is the best. The one example, geopolitical example arising out of the tension and ego is Ukraine war, where the president of Russia is, I don't know what to say about the war. It is a battle of egos, and this is why political leadership should and must inculcate inclusive nature rather than divisive and all mine kind of theory, where grabbing the land, or divisiveness, dividing the populace and using it for your own selfish needs. This will serve better for the nation and also world at large. Having said so, signing off until the next episode. Bye.